Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. It's Wealth Wednesday. I'm here to give you an update on my wealth building progress. We do these every single Wednesday. Okay, now, as you're watching the video, if you watch this through to the very end, the very end, I have a free ebook that you can get. Okay, this is a free ebook. You can download it, and it's how to protect yourself from bank failures, right? But you need to watch to the end to get the link for the ebook, right? Now, I'm going to dive into this today, give you the update, and I want you thinking with, as I'm going through this, what does your update look like? Okay, what are you doing to build wealth in your own life right now, and are you making the progress that I'm talking about today? All right, guys, welcome back to Wealth Building Wednesday. Okay, so this past week has been a lot of hustle for me, right? I've been doing, lots of sales calls. I've been doing marketing. I've been doing systems. I've been writing. So it's a lot of everything going on. But what's happening is we're getting a lot of projects done in my company. Okay, so on the business front, I had a call with a client yesterday. He's got $500,000. He's looking to invest in real estate. And I was just giving him an update. I was like, hey, we have these systems set up. We're working with the money multiplier. We've got an entire back office team for sacred accounts. And he's like, damn, you guys have been putting the work in. I can see it, right? And so for me, that was really cool to see, a client say that. We've had clients say that in prior weeks too about some of the onboarding booklets and manuals that we've been releasing, where they're like, hey, we really are enjoying these. It's very, maybe clarifying. It's giving us a lot of stability. It's giving education. So we're doing a lot of that stuff. So I'm doing writing, at least once a week. I'm trying to get an ebook published or a book published. I'm building presentations for my sales team. I'm doing recruiting. I'm doing sales interviews. I'm helping other people with their sales. I'm doing servicing calls with clients. And so really, this is the stage for me where I'm kind of being a little bit of like everything to everybody, right? And as an individual, if you're an entrepreneur, there's going to be seasons like that, right? There's going to be seasons where you're the one that's going to have to be, the coach on this, the consultant for that, the fixer for this, the everything on whatever's going on. And so the goal is, as I'm going through these, I'm trying to organize as I go so that I don't keep getting pulled back to those areas. Okay, I want my people to be competent and using the things that I'm teaching and developing as I go, right? Now, one of the things I've realized is the sheer volume that this takes. Doing one video usually isn't going to cut it, right? So for example, if I'm going to be training my sales guys on, I want to help them get better at sales, for example. I should say sales ladies, because we have women on the team, which, by the way, has been a phenomenal decision. I don't know what it is, but women seem better at sales. Shout out to you women. There's a lot less babysitting and hand-holding than I've experienced in the past, so I really enjoy that. But as I'm going through this with them, I'm realizing I need dozens of videos for them to watch with me, which means number one, I need to go do the actual sales cycles dozens of times. I need to record them, and I need to close so that it's a good example of what my team should be doing, right? If they can watch those videos, then they have a whole library of, what do you do when you're working with this kind of person? What do you say when you hear that? Those kind of things, right? Now, I've also been kind of amazed at how much clarity can be brought with a 5-minute conversation, right? Now, there's lots of things you can do with your time. I believe, at this point, if somebody is working on something and it's been more than a few minutes, like you give them a simple cycle and it's just not getting done, jump on a call, answer the call, have a conversation, help them get it, give them the concepts, and that usually will get it done quicker. Otherwise, cycles can tend to drag out for weeks. So a lot of this for me has been buttoning those things up, getting more organized. Now, on the personal financial front, I did just start the application for my newest sacred account. So I'm opening another one up myself. I mentioned last week I've got some consumer debt from going through some of the stuff I went through last year with the company and the divorce and all this. And so I'm going back to phase 0. I'm paying some of those things off with my own sacred accounts. I'm setting up another one for that. And then part of this is I started my own Big 3 challenge, right? So the Big 3 challenge, last week I began this. Every single day for 90 days, you spend 10 minutes learning about finances. You do something additional to increase your income. Okay, and then you rate and you reconcile your transactions. You do the 1 to 5 game, right? 1 is it's a dumb thing, 2 is it's bad timing, 3 is maybe, 4 is survival based, and then 5 is it's either income producing or tax reducing, right? And so I'm doing that every day. And so one of the things that I've realized was, on the learning side of things, is it's very easy when you're busy and you're a top executive and you're the guy that's, kind of being depended on by everyone else, or the girl that's being depended on by everyone else, to neglect your own education. Right? Because I've got to answer to this person and help with that cycle and do this, right? I might go through phases where, yes, I know a lot more than the average person about finances. However, it doesn't mean that I have an excuse not to learn. There's no pinnacle of knowledge, and I say that all the time. So I had been in one of those phases where I was like, man, it actually had been a while since I learned about finances myself, right? Not that I'm illiterate, I know a ton, but it's like there's always more to learn, right? I was so busy with what I mentioned on the first half of this video, helping this and doing that and being this person and that person all in the company, where I was like, yeah, I haven't actually invested in my own education from a time standpoint. So I started doing that first, and I actually started seeing, I want to learn about this area and that area, and starting to improve and taking the things I'm learning and implementing those right away, right? And I always do better when I'm learning for the sake of implementation rather than learning because someone told me to, or learning just to get done with an activity and be like, okay, I finished it. Like, I want to get everything I can out of it. So I'm kind of learning at my own pace where I'm not trying to rush through it. I'm looking at, okay, what can I get out of this and how can I understand it, work it around in my own mind for my company, my investments, my finances, my life, and put that into action right away, okay? Now, the second thing is the things I've been doing to increase my income. So for me, that's sales, right? Sales and delivery in my company, right? So I've been spending time daily doing sales calls. The last couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot more than I have in the last few years, where I'm hands-on again, reaching out to clients, reaching out to prospects, helping on sales with my team. And then same thing as looking with our delivery team on, okay, how can we make the experience with clients even better, right? I watched the Air Jordan movie. One of the Nike philosophies was that if you do things right, the money shows up automatically. Okay, if you do a really good job, you don't really have to think about where the money's gonna come from. It just shows up. So that's one of the indicators, is if you're doing a good job, you'll start to see you're making more money because of that. Okay, and then finally, the expenses. Now with the expenses, I'm not a frivolous guy. So for me, it's like, it expenses once every month. I'll buy a $50 pair of shoes at Burlington and I'm like, yeah, right? Or I'll get coffee and I'm like, cool, $4 coffee is good for me, right? I don't do a lot of this, but when I did the expenses, I was rating them and it's on a 1 to 5 scale, right? So again, 1 is dumb, 2 is bad timing, 3 is a maybe, 4 is survival. Okay, survival is defined as food, clothing, shelter, transportation, education, and personal well-being. And then 5 is things that are income producing and tax reducing. So I'm going through this the first couple of days and I noticed all my things were 4s. 4, 4, 4. All of it's survival-based stuff, which is good. I'm not like looking at that and feeling bad that I'm surviving, but I was like, damn, I don't have any 5s, right? The activities I'm doing are just, pay for shelter, pay for transportation, pay for food, like the basics, and I'm not spending a lot outside of the basics, but I'm also not putting stuff towards personal development or reducing taxes or increasing income. Right, and so that was an area where I was like, okay, good. And it kind of goes back to the education thing, especially for someone that's a high producer. You can get caught up in work and forget to be strategic and forget to educate and forget to think about, how do I reduce my taxes? How do I grow my income? How do I squeeze the most I can out of my expenses, right? So that's a bit of an update for me. Another thing that's very exciting is I got back into gold investing. So gold leasing is something that I'm picking back up now. So I'm kind of getting out of like scorched earth of last year, right? Everything was, just pull it all together, start rebuilding, and I'm starting to see progress, right? I'm starting to see I'm doing more of the things that I was doing prior, and the bounce back has been pretty quick respectively, right? So those are a couple of the updates. And again, guys, I want you thinking about your updates. If you're watching this video, what did your week look like with your wealth building, right? If you were to do a recap video, what would be on there? And you don't need to share this with anyone. If you want to email it to me, you can. I'm happy to look at it for you, jerry@wealthdynamics.com. Right? But what's your recap? What did you accomplish? What did you work on? What are you starting? What did you get rid of in your life financially? Like, where are you making progress towards your own wealth, right? Now, I did promise an ebook. Okay, so if you watched to the end of the video just now, I want you to click on or go to the link. It's jerryfetta.com/bankfail. Okay, jerryfetta.com/bankfail. I just opened another sacred account for myself. Obviously, I'm handling my consumer debts and things I'm working on my own personal blueprint. However, I'm also looking at the banking landscape and I'm saying, yeah, I don't want to put money there. Okay, I don't trust that. I don't want my money in the bank right now. I don't want my money in a savings account and a checking account any more than is the minimum required for my lifestyle with my business, which is 1 month of cash reserves. Anything beyond that, I want to put that in a sacred account, right? So download the booklet. I want you to read it and I want you to understand what's happening when you put your money in the bank. And then there's also a free video course you can access so you can learn more in depth on how you can be solution-oriented and actually set up your own banking system or expand upon your own banking system if you've set one up already. Guys, that's all I've got for today. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.